Welcome to Truck You After Hours. How's everybody doing? Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. Wanted to talk to you about a couple of things today, but I'm pulling it up right now. There are some EPA changes, and I dove deeper into the changes in the emission standards for trucks. Apparently, we can now bypass the DEF D-rates, the truck D-rates, 5 mile per hour D-rates, and I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into it to see what can we really do and can we not do to avoid those 5. Can you legally do something to avoid those 5 mile per hour D-rates? So welcome everybody. Eduardo's there. Hey Eduardo, how are you doing? Are you working? Are you off? Hassan, welcome to the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know what you guys are doing. Where are you heading to? Are you at home? Are you driving? If you're driving, don't watch it. Just listen to it. So a couple things before I deep dive into the emission standards that's pretty interesting on what is happening right now with how good it is for owner operators. As far as what's being done to help owner operators in the business. And that is the number one focus for me and what I would like to promote and talk about and make sure that we as owner operators do as much as we can to be profitable and successful in the business. A couple of things I want to go over as far as the topics in the industry. The first one that I found was the 2027 pre-buy and the used truck squeeze, the buying window story. This is the practical companion to the EPA topic and worth its own segment. The used market, Class 8, has finally stabilized after 2 brutal years of falling values. But analysis warn that's the calm before the crunch. As OEMs ramp 2027 pre-production, big fleets do 3 things that hit small carriers first. They order new early, they hold onto their clean pre-2027 trucks longer, and they pull good low mileage units out of the used pool. The result is that pre-2027 trucks become the safe inventory everyone wants. Midlife trucks, 4 to 70 years old, turn into premium stock in quality supply, which is at or near its peak right now, starts drying up. The advice for your listeners, for my listeners, if you're within 12 to 18 months of needing a truck, start shopping in this Q1, Q2 2026 window while carriers' liquidations are still feeding decent trucks into the market. Buying improving 2025-26 unit now locks in today's price and a system your mechanic already knows instead of paying the truck apocalypse premium later. So yeah, the 2027, I don't even think there are some changes related to the DEF D rates and the 5 mile per hour, but this is pretty much what I've been talking about multiple times. The good older emission trucks, which now we can call them older, but the pre-2027 carriers are holding on to them. So and the ones that are being sold are exploited pretty badly. Again, about freight rates, after a long down cycle, the market is swinging back toward carriers. I actually saw the latest drive-in was pretty high, and it was the rate for the drive-in was 306, which was 6 cents above June. So July is 306 as of right now for drive-in. For flatbed, it's 366 down from 370. So it dropped 4 cents, and reefer is 345, average rate up from 339 in June. So more of the same. Flatbed dropped. I wonder what happened. I think it's because a lot of drive-in, whoever is capable and has the experience in flatbed went to flatbed because of the rates. Maybe the capacity shifted. The market is swinging back toward carriers. Spot rates, I think it already has. Spot rates are projected around 285 by mid-2026 and running roughly 15% above a year ago. The strongest year-over-year read since early 2022. While contract rates are stabilizing near 245, capacity is tightening as the down years pushed marginal operators out, which shifts negotiating leverage back to the people still standing. The owner-operator isn't just rates are up, celebrate. It's about discipline while the window is open. Now your true cost per mile, hold the line on cheap freight and use the tighter market to negotiate lanes and build direct shipper relationships that survive the next downturn. I've been saying it's definitely the market definitely swung already towards carriers have the pricing power, but as everything else, it's going to come down at some point, and finding direct customers is the key to make sure you're not going to end up in the same situation as we had. It's always what goes up must come down. The intermodal RPM, Eduardo's asking, I really don't know, so I'm not going to come up with a number, but I'm assuming it's climbing up. I have talked to some clients of mine that are doing intermodal A, and what they see is increasing volume for sure, but the intermodal, I would have to dig into it. I haven't checked the rates on intermodal. The volumes are up for sure. So everybody's busier. All right, same thing I've talked about multiple times. The insurance nuclear verdict. I wanted to mention this, but I'm not going to go straight to the DEF and what I found out about the EPA system trucks. I thought there was going to be more news that is a little bit more relevant, but nothing new. The number one thing for owner-operators right now is the EPA ruling that just came out, and I wanted to expand on that a little bit. So let me just give you a little background of what's actually happening with the emissions, and let's see if it's good or not for owners. I think it's going to be pretty good for us. The truck emissions landscape is governed by two baseline rules originally passed between 2022 and 2024, heavily modified by the recent 2026 regulatory shift. So the 2027 heavy-duty NOx rule mandates an unprecedented 90% reduction in NOx emissions. It's just crazy. It's from what we had, the 2027 demanded 90% reduction in the NOx. It forces compliance testing across low loads and idling conditions, which I mentioned in one of the previous after-hour podcasts that what the system actually does is now we have two DEF dozers, and pretty much the entire DEF system is doubled, and I call it double trouble because you just have now both of everything as far as DEF. The greenhouse gas phase 3 standards mandates the second rule mandates severe carbon dioxide reduction through year 2032, pushing manufacturers to force market penetration of electric and hydrogen heavy platforms. The July 2026 emergency proposal, this is the one that is changing a little bit. To alleviate crushing economic pressures on owner-operators, the EPA announced historic revisions to the 2027 rule. Complete factory elimination of DEF derates. No newly manufactured truck engine can legally contain software designed to shut a truck down to 5 miles per hour over a DEF sensor failure. Or not even DEF, anything, NOx. I mean, if you're taking out the 5 mile per hour derate, you got to take it, period, with whatever is triggering it, including NOx sensors. I hope. Well, we'll see. Non-conformance penalties. Manufacturers can pay compliance fees to keep selling orders highly reliable engine platforms if their complex 2027 systems display early bugs. And warranty cutbacks. Burdensome 650,000 mile emissions warranty mandates are scaled back, immediately slashing upfront new truck prices by an estimated 6,000 per unit. So if you guys don't remember, they originally came up with the 650,000 mile warranty for all the new trucks, and that was actually that's kind of crazy. I mean, that would be great, but I had a feeling they're going to come up with something not to do it. So they are rolling it back. So what's really happening? I wanted to see what can we do with that derate and which engines actually qualify for it, because you don't want to go to a dealer or a shop and they will tell you, well, we can't really do it for you. But apparently there are some guidelines around which engines and what year specifically. So major truck years qualifying for 5 mile per hour derate bypass. Under the EPA's revised guidelines, specific truck years and engine configurations qualify for legal factory software updates that completely eliminate or bypass the sudden 5 mile per hour limp mode induced by the DEF sensor failures. Cummins engines, qualified models, looks like all of them 2017 and newer. Covers over 1.5 million medium and heavy-duty platforms. Dealers flash the ECM to replace instant shutdown with extended limp grace periods. And I'll get to that in a second. I actually found what needs to how that derate is going to work now. PACCAR engines, MX-11, MX-13, Kenworth Peterbilt, 2019 to 2026, built post 2018. Existing fleet can be updated via dealership software. Trucks built after July 20th of 2026 feature this bypass pre-installed straight from the factory. So anything that's pretty much being built this month, well, July 20th. So not yet. A Detroit Diesel and Daimler, Freightliner and Western Star, DD15s and DD13s years 2021 to 2025. That's for DD15. For DD13, it's 2022 and 2025. Targeted rollout affecting roughly 330,000 existing over-the-road trucks to mitigate common depth sensor faults. And all new diesel trucks, the ones that are being built right now, so 2027 plus, will have that already done. So that's pretty good. So, okay, Cummins 2017 plus, PACCAR 2019, Detroit for DD15s 2021. But what are you supposed to do with the older ones then? Like, is it fine? Doesn't say. Couldn't find that information yet. But all right, so legal boundaries. Let's talk about what you can do and what you cannot do. What's strictly prohibited: physical engine deleting, stripping, or physically modifying components like the DPF, EGR cooler, or SCR remains an explicit civil violation under Section 203A3 of the Clean Air Act. Selling defeat software, commercializing, mass marketing, or operating a public shop selling physical delete kits or emissions defeat tunes remains open to the steep civil liabilities. Statutory civil fines. The EPA retains civil enforcement power on paper, carrying maximum penalties of $45,000 per tampered vehicle and $4,500 per defeat device sold for shops. Nothing really changed here. What can be done, what is permitted: bypass the DEF inducement derates. Drivers are fully permitted to have authorized shops, dealers, update their ECM software to override 5 mile per hour speed limitations according to the modern EPA guidance. Criminal immunity for tuning and operating. The Department of Justice officially ordered federal prosecutors to drop all criminal enforcement against diesel tuners, and high-profile presidential pardons have removed the risk of criminal prosecution or jail time. Which, I don't know if you guys heard, Trump pardoned that guy that got in jail for tuning the engines, and that's part of it. I guess they pushed it through, so no penalties so pretty much criminal immunity for. Which it also doesn't make sense, because they did say that you really can't. So if you're immune to an illegal action, and then obviously you still can't do it, it's confusing. But anything from government is. But status quo operation: no retroactive requirements exist. Any pre-emissions or existing truck remains completely legal to operate nationally across state lines. That's good, but nothing new. We could have kept those pre-emission trucks. All classic trucks, pre-emission trucks are still the best trucks out there, in my opinion. Strategic takeaways for the owner-operator: flash your engine safely. If you own a eligible truck model year, you can request to update the software calibration immediately to isolate yourself from the issues that obviously you get with derates. So talk to your shop, talk to a dealer, see if you can do it at their location. I'm assuming it's going to create a backlog of owner-operators and fleets trying to have that removed, but that's good news. I think this is great. As long as we can remove those derates. And let me find, because I did have, what was the rule. Okay, there you go. I found it. The way it's now going to work. So the extended window for the derate. This is something that wasn't really clear to me, how now the derate is going to work. So instead of throwing a critical fault and forcing a 5 mile per hour shutdown within hours, drivers receive a clear dash warning letting them travel up to 650 miles or 10 hours before penalty. And then, okay, so that's good. You can pretty much make it to any shop you want or back home. Higher bottom speed. If completely unaddressed for weeks, the absolute minimum speed floor is legally raised from 5 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour, keeping trucks safely moving off major highways. Perfect. That also makes sense. So great. That is great news. We'll see if it's ever going to be reversed. Hopefully not, but those derates are just a pain in the butt. But we can deal with those emissions, and yes, they're still expensive, but at least now we don't have to tow the trucks, which is good news for us. Awesome. If you guys have any questions, post them. If anybody's buying a truck, or if you're looking to get into the trucking business, if you're planning on buying something or if you have any interest in learning about it, just join our free group at truckyou.com or just go to school/truckingbusiness.com. Truckingbusiness, not .com, truckingbusiness.com also, but you can find us on truckyou.com. And we have about 1,700 members. Some guys are buying trucks and learning how to do it properly. And this is great news. I'm glad. So apparently, when I'm looking at the 2017 Cummins engines, what I would do if I was looking for one right now, I would actually I would find out if I can bypass the DEF and if somebody can legally do it for me, and then buy something in the 2019, probably 1920 before COVID with a manual transmission, and then have it tuned so you don't get the derates. And that would be a pretty good purchase, I think, especially those will demand a little less money than a glider or a pre-emission truck, classic pre-emission truck that's well taken care of. So great news. Awesome. I wanted to talk to you about those EPA emission and DEF bypasses. So this is pretty much for me everything I had prepared today for you guys. So thank you guys. I appreciate you hanging out, and I'll see you next Thursday. Talk to you soon.